G'day guys and welcome. My name is Michael and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, here to share with you my tips, tricks, ideas and strategies for playing and running tabletop role-playing games. Today's video we're going to be discussing reckless characters. What is it that people don't like about reckless characters, and of course how can we better play reckless characters when we sit down to roleplay? So, first of all, I want to say this. This is not going to be a video about a rant of these people being reckless at my table, blah blah blah. Instead, we're going to be looking at just some of the constructive ways we can look at reckless characters and really get the most out of their roleplay. So, firstly, what is it about reckless characters that people don't like? Well, I don't actually think it's the recklessness at all. I think that there is a very, very thin line, and I mean crazy thin, between playing a reckless character and playing an impulsive character. Now, a reckless character may be someone who doesn't fully understand or comprehend the consequences of their action. That in itself is not dangerous, because of course, while a character can be reckless, a player controlling them can definitely see the consequences of their actions. They might say, hey look guys, look, my character, he is about to just go nutso on this bus because we've been chasing him for so long. If you guys want to say anything now to sort of help stop him from going and doing that, now's the time. That is good, reckless character etiquette. An impulsive character is very different, because an impulsive character is one who simply acts, and there is nothing that anyone can do to stop them. Impulsive characters tend to be the ones that also interrupt the flow of gameplay. They can interrupt the flow of the narrative, they can interrupt cinematic moments, they can interrupt other players who are taking on the spotlight. There's a whole bunch of moments that can really get hindered by the presence of an impulsive character. I do not recommend people play impulsive characters flat out. I don't think they add anything to the game. I mean, I might be wrong. Add it in the chat if you think I'm wrong about that, but I don't think impulsive characters do. Reckless characters, however, a reckless character might decide, hey, we should move forward. Yes, it might be dangerous, but you know what? Screw it. Let's live with whatever consequences happen when we go that way. Reckless characters are a driving force, and they can move a story forward. This is one of the reasons why I think reckless characters are essential to many games, because they ask the most crucial question: why not? Why not go through that door? Why not go slay the dragon? Why not go listen to this old man who clearly is more powerful than we are, and yet still needs us to go and get his laundry from up on the mountain, which he does his laundry at for some reason? These are the questions that reckless characters answer that make the game go forward. There are plenty of scenarios where a group will be over-prepared, or you'll have people who sort of go, okay, that sounds really dangerous, we need to get this equipment, that equipment, we need to talk to this NPC, that NPC, and the story never goes anywhere. You might have scenarios where, okay, cool, I'm going to check every door for traps. I'm going to listen to every door. I'm going to set an ambush tactic, and then we're going to, once we've gotten everything in place and we're absolutely sure that we'll get a surprise round when we kick open this door and this, that, and the other. A reckless character is the kind of person that goes, nope, enough of that faffing about, we're going this way. Very different to an impulsive character who will simply do that regardless. You know, that's where it goes. The why not question is super important, and it's one of the best elements of reckless characters, in my opinion. Now, this is a tricky one because I want to say this right. Reckless characters can be played by both very, very well-thought people, and they can also be played by very reckless people. If you are an individual who does find yourself in a lot of scenarios that instigate consequences that your group didn't appreciate, that your GM doesn't appreciate, if you find that there is a lot of animosity towards a character because of their reckless actions, what you want to watch out for is you want to watch out for your own reasoning as to why your character is being reckless. If your character is being reckless because they want to roll the dice on a gamble, you know, if I want to do something super dangerous to get a really big reward, your players will appreciate that. Hell, your GM will appreciate it. That's part of being reckless. If you want to roll some dice and gain nothing in return, if all that happens is, cool, here's a really, really high risk thing that's going to give us nothing and going to start trouble, that's when problems arise. And this behavior is kind of trollish, in my opinion. So you always want to make sure that when you're playing recklessly, or your character is reckless, you want to make sure that you're weighing up your risk and reward. Always, always weigh it up. Because if you don't, then you might be at risk of having a troll on your table. All right. Yeah, so there you go. That's what I want to say about that. I hate talking about trolls. I really do, because honestly, I feel like they find me, you know? Every time I say something about trolls in one of my videos, like, I'm not even joking. I just have a public game, and then someone will show up and they'll be like, is that your quest giver? Is he allergic to daggers? You know, and it just happens. Always does. Okay. Now, I'm going to get real with you guys for a second, because I play a lot of reckless characters. Anyone who's watched me on my videos and stuff like that, or watched me on live streams, you will know that I play very reckless characters. There is a truth behind reckless characters, and I want to share this with people who may resonate with me. When we take a risk, we roll those dice, we come up with this idea that this is what's going to happen, and when we fail, sometimes really bad stuff happens. Sometimes we misread a situation and an entirely different consequence happens. We make a mistake and the group has to pay for the action that we take. It is important to remember that even if you feel embarrassed, because I know I do whenever that happens. I feel embarrassed that I rolled poorly, or I feel embarrassed that I misread the scenario. When that happens, when you feel that sense of embarrassment, don't cover it up. Don't be remorseless in your actions. Don't turn to your group and say, "Oh, well, no, it's fine. We'll deal with it. Screw it." Ha. You know. And worse still, do not exacerbate the situation. This is what we call doubling down. There are plenty of scenarios where I've had my players at the table do something reckless, do something dumb, and then just continue to do dumb things because they basically go, "Well, I'm all in now, so let's just keep throwing this out there." And nothing happens. It just makes things worse, and it creates even more tension and more animosity. Don't double down. If you make a mistake being reckless, dial it back a little bit and wait for your next opportunity. Don't just keep throwing reckless action after reckless action at the encounter and hope that something sticks. It's not going to stick. It never sticks. If you are, then maybe have it suggested by another player, or maybe open it up to the group and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Look, guys, I know this is crazy, but I've got all this gunpowder." You know, whatever it is, make sure you run it past the group, because that way everyone kind of takes responsibility for it. It's not just you as the individual doing it. All right. Now, for the last story I'm going to share for today, I'm going to share a story of a impulsive character. Now, this was a game that we played many years ago. It was kind of like a cross between a sci-fi and a fantasy game. And the character in question was he was supposed to be our makeshift leader, but was a very impulsive character. We were invited by an NPC to go and visit her temple. We were invited because long story short, we were supposed to bring the temple priestess back to our main village. She had invited us because she had heard that we were in the area. So we went to visit her. We arrived at the temple, which was surrounded by a large clockwork wall, which in itself is fine. It's a large clockwork wall. The leader of the group suddenly got very angry and irritated because we couldn't get in. And so he started smashing things, trying to break through, and he failed. That sense of embarrassment, he doubled down, started breaking even more stuff. We found the lever to get in. He tried to break the lever. We then finally got in. He failed to break the lever as well. We got in, and by this stage, again, that doubling down thing has started to kick in. We're in an empty room, an empty part of the temple with all of these golems, because it was a temple to the god of machines and god of constructs and all that sort of stuff. And inevitably, the woman shows up, comes out, and this guy runs up, grabs her, and demands to know why she's been messing about with them. Why, when we walked in and called out for her name, she didn't actually respond to us. Why the door was locked and all this other stuff. Now, accosting the cleric here was a terrible idea. Let's start with that. But this anger that he had felt was from the previous failed attempts. Once that happened, however, the golems awoke, and they started attacking us, and we were suddenly in battle. Naturally, the golems were more powerful than us, they pinned the character down, and we then had to try and salvage the situation. Doubling down, he then started to fight against the golems, and started to struggle, and irreparably damaged the reputation between us and this NPC. Doubling down is never a good thing. It's a toxic thing, because all it really does is it irritates you, it irritates everyone else, and it doesn't add anything to the story of the game. So avoid it where you can. This is a cautionary tale, by the way, for those of you who, want to know what it's called. Because I heard I had a recent discussion about the difference between a morality tale and a cautionary tale. This is a cautionary tale. So yes, a cautionary tale of, if we make a mistake, don't feel embarrassed. It's fine to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Embrace them, grow from them, and learn from them. Be impulsive, but don't be repetitive. Be able to push your story forward and always allow your story and your narrative to play out. Don't interrupt. Don't break the flow. Try and read where it's going, and your reckless character will have a fantastic and awesome time, not only for yourself, but for everyone at your table. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did make it very late, so that's why I'm kind of winding down. I kind of feel like I sound like one of those radio talk show hosts that's like on that late night. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. It was a real pleasure to have you here. Be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button, and go check out our links in the description below. We have a Patreon page, and as well as a Discord that you can come and just chat with us and relax. Till next time, guys, as always, game hard or die trying. Good night. Bye, guys.